Mastering no-limit hold'em tournaments is difficult, and mastering the final table is even more difficult. So today, we are going to use the PeakGTO trainer to train a few common final table situations, and we're going to see how well we do. So head over to PeakGTO, click on the trainer. Now we're going to be studying a tournament scenario with ICM implications, which means we're going to be playing as if we were at a final table. Then we can select the number of players at the table, or we can go down here to the advanced feature and select our exact situation based on the various stack depths. Let's just make it easy for ourselves today, though. We'll study a spot with 5 players at the table, and let's make the difficulty hard. I'm probably going to get some of these wrong, but that is okay. Now, what we have here is we have a situation where we have 16 big blinds in the hijack with ace-3 of clubs. The cutoff has 23 big blinds, button has 24, small blind has 20, big blind has 14. And this is going to be using a standard payout structure. We can actually pull out this side over here, and it will show us what we should do either in the previous spot, or if you want to see what to do in this spot, it will show you that as well. So this is the current spot and how we should play this hand. And it says to min raise. You can also turn on down here. You can take a look at the bubble factor to take a look at how much extra equity you need to get your money in. You can see the EV of various decisions. And here is the prize pool structure for this particular spot. Okay, you can also turn this off though. And now we're going to be flying blind. We're going to have to figure out what to do in this spot. We already saw that you're supposed to min raise this ace-3 suited. And now this shows how you should have played that scenario. And as you see, ace-3 suited is about the weakest suited ace you should min raise. Now, what do we do with the ace-7 of spades facing the min raise? You do not know your opponent has the ace-3 of clubs here, of course. So facing the min raise in this scenario, what should we do with the ace-7 of spades? I'm going to go with, nasty spot. I'm going to go with re-raise small though. And it is either fold or re-raise small. And now you can see over here that these low suited ace-X's are used as a bluff every once in a while. I thought they would have been used a little bit more, so clearly I would have messed that up. Now, facing a raise and a 3-bet, what do we do with pocket sevens? This is just going to be a fold most of the time. And that is what happens. Notice again, it's basically never played, so that's good. This ace-7 suited, also fold, although again, these are tricky spots. They're getting in there a little bit at a time. And then king-jack of diamonds, I'm also going to just say fold. Back around to the ace-3 suited. This is a tricky spot. We're probably supposed to just fold, as annoying as that is. So that is how you would play that exact situation. Now we can go to the next hand and study a similar but different spot, because notice now the chip stacks have been shuffled a little bit. But still raise it up with the ace-2 suited the majority of the time. King-10 suited. Ooh. Probably just 3-bet small, right, with the big stack? No. Call or jam. All right, notice there we lost a little bit of our rating by re-raising in the spot. Facing the raise and the 3-bet, what do we do with the pocket 8s now? It's probably just a fold, although maybe it shoves. All right, is this one of those spots where the lower pairs shove? Let's see. So look, similar spot to what we were just looking at, right? Notice here the 7s and the 6s get to go all in. Ace-queen offsuit, I have to presume that's just good enough, but I was wrong. Big mistake on that one. When it goes raise, 3-bet, jam, ace-king probably folds, as tight as that sounds. Now, of course, the rest of these hands are going to fold too. So there, notice there we made an error with the ace-queen. Can we actually call this off for 10 more big blinds? It's probably close, but no. So in this situation, our hand was actually out of our range because we shouldn't have had it, I suppose, in that spot. Here we go to the next hand. King-6 suited. We will fold in this spot. Notice the stacks are shuffled again. We will raise it up with the pocket queens. Ace-jack. Do we want to click it or do we just want to rip it in? Notice there is a short stack here with only 12 big blinds. I'm going to think we just rip it in. And it is shove or re-raise small. Okay. Ace-queen now. Hey, we actually just looked at a very similar spot. I think this one's going to be a fold. And it is a fold. So look, we're learning, right? Ace-8 suited with 11 big blinds facing a raise and a jam. It's just a fold. And now the queens gets to call it off. So in spots like this, you always want to ask, how wide do I actually call it off? in this spot. And it's probably going to be somewhat tight. Notice we're calling nines and better, ace jack suited and better, and ace queen offsuit only. Okay? Cool. Let's go through another one. King jack offsuit, 5 big blinds deep. I presume that's just good enough. We're not going to be like overly wide here. Notice we're not like super duper wide in the spot, but king jack's just good enough. 10-9 suited for 5 big blinds is going to be a fold. Jacks. Is it a call or a jam? You don't really want to click it and then induce a shove. You'd rather either shove and get all the money in or call in case it goes like jam, jam. Maybe then you can fold somehow. I think we're probably supposed to just shove this, although it is mixing. Okay. Notice in the spot, you actually don't do much jamming, which I suppose is because whenever you do jam, take a look at the strategy real quick, right? Notice aces, kings, queens are calling with the idea that if we get jammed, we can call it off. And then we have all these hands on this end calling the idea that we can fold if this guy jams. So while jacks does shove, I think I would have messed this up a little bit. I probably would have jammed like 10s, jacks, maybe queens, and then these up here as well. I probably would not have called off 5. So maybe it would have been a little bit off in this scenario. But again, this is why you study these spots, right? Study, study, study. That way you don't make common mistakes. Once it goes raise, jam, of course, queen, jack folds. And we move on to the next hand. King, queen offsuit. Ooh, we have a big stack here. So we have to be a little bit careful, but I think king, queen still just good enough to raise. King, jack is probably about close. Yeah, so king, jack is roughly the bottom. King, 10 is mixing. Jack 7 suited. As the big stack, you do get to mess around some, but I don't think you get to get too crazy here. Let's see what you should play with in this spot. Notice you do get to get pretty frisky in this situation because we are in position against the other medium stack. Or against a medium stack. This is a spot where you can apply a lot of pressure post flop. So while it may seem a little bit crazy to call like jack 8 suited, queen 10 suited, 6-4 suited, etc., post flop's going to go really, really well for you. Now, with the shortest stack, I think 7s is probably just good enough. Although, this could be a fold. All right, it's not. I think like 5s is probably a fold. Yeah, and it is, so that's good. Again, all this is to just train your intuition so that you learn how to play these spots very, very well. Kings, of course, gets in. Although you got to be pretty tight here. Notice 10s and better, ace, queen, and ace, king. Ace 10 suited will fold. King, queen will fold. And we go to the next hand. So far, so good. Not too many major blunders, which is great. Ace 7 offsuit with a big stack on the button. We got to be very tight in the spot. So take a look at this scenario, right? Now we have 26 big blinds, 9 big blinds in the cutoff. Big stack on the button. Small blind has 20. Big blind has 35. This player with 26 big blinds has to be super, super cautious here. And notice they're really only raising just the best stuff. I might have even been a little bit tighter in this, but notice like ace 10 and king jack are mixing folds. I think that's fine. I would have folded 10-9 suited and king 8 suited as well. Probably would have even folded 6s there. I think in the real world, this spot goes pretty poorly for you in general if you do raise, because the big stack on the button is going to call a ton, and then the big blind gets to call a lot as well. Jack 8 suited for 9 big blinds I think is just not quite there. You probably want to shove jack 9 suited. Yeah, so notice jack 9 suited shoves, 10-9 suited. So that's good to see. We're not just going to jam, I don't think, for 35 big blinds. Oh, we do! Notice a minimal error. Take a look at this strategy. Now, this is a spot where I think I and a whole lot of other people struggle when it comes to making humongous all-ins. Take a look at this strategy on the button with the big stack. The big stack in this scenario gets to raise basically every hand except for the absolute worst hands, right? And even though they're jamming for 36 big blinds, they get to shove super wide, because if they do shove in this scenario, then the other stacks have to be very, 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 very cautious. Like right here, I think king 10 is probably going to be a fold against the min raise. And king 7 in the big blind. Rough one. You're probably supposed to call, but maybe it's just a fold as well. It's mixing. Actually bluffs sometimes, which is cool to see. But that's a scenario where on the button with a short stack who has previously folded, right? The 10 big blind stack, you get to be hyper aggressive as a big stack on the button. Let's go through one more spot. King 8 suited, 8 big blinds deep. So here's a spot where I think if it was like 8 big blinds deep with everybody having a big stack, you can shove. But I think when there's a bunch of other shorter stacks, you should fold, because it's somewhat likely one of these two players behind is going to go broke. So I'm going to fold this, but it could be close. Like king 9 suited is probably a shove though, right? So yeah, king 9 suited is a shove. So that's good to see. As the big stack, notice you're not too big, but as the big stack, do you get to raise the 10-5 suited? Of course, this is hard mode, so all these hands are going to be close. I'm going to presume fold. If this was on the button, you can definitely play, but I think here we can probably let it go. But it looks like that, again, was just a little bit too tight. We didn't lose much EV at all. Notice this is a spot that we're using a lot of shoves, 30 big blinds deep. Take a look at all these hands in dark red that are ripping it in. This is something almost no one does in game, but recognize that if this player in the cutoff shoves, button can fold, button, small blind, and big blind will also be quite tight to try to outlast the hijack. Now here, with a bigger stack, can we just rip it in with this one? Or do we min raise? I'm thinking this is going to be a shove, but I don't really love it. Oh, mistake. Only a small mistake. Notice it is right on the cusp. So not too bad. This is a shape you often see though, right? Notice this big chunk of suited high card hands and suited connectors shove. It's always hard to know exactly how low you go. Typically though, you don't min raise these hands with the two low cards, just because you don't block the opponent's shoving ranges at all. If you are going to play them, you'd rather shove them, whereas you'd rather min raise these type of hands and then fold those to a shove. King, queen against a jam. It's probably not quite there, although it's probably close. I mean, actually, if you consider this range in dark red, right, that's what I quote unquote should have. So how does king, queen do against this? Well, it's behind these, ahead of all these, flipping against these. I think it's probably a fold, but it's going to be close. And it is close. And then king 9 suited, I gotta presume, same story, tight fold. All right. So that is it for today. Whenever you are studying on PeakGTO, you can actually go in here to the library, go over here to the ICM section, and select exactly the spot that you are in with a 12.5% ante or a big blind ante, number of players at the table. Let's say you know you have, let's say 20 big blinds in the big blind. You can go through here and filter to where we're looking at spots where the big blind has roughly 20 big blinds. Find the situation where your opponents have roughly similar stacks, and then you can go in and train that exact spot. So doing this over and over and over again, especially before you go to play a final table where you know the stack distribution, is going to go a long way to helping you play that spot better. And also training a lot at PeakGTO.com is going to go a long way to helping your intuition get way better, so that when you are actually playing at the table with lots of pressure, you'll be able to make the right decision. Thanks again for being here. Good luck in your games. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button down there, click the notification bell, type something fun in the comments. I'll talk to you next time.